before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, real quick, I want to just make a little bit of a disclaimer here. If you have had a positive experience interacting with Highland Park Lapidary, their machines, them as a company, all of that, that's great. I am very happy for you. That should be the goal, is that everybody has a positive interaction when spending money with a company. However, that is not universally true. I have had a negative experience. Many other people have had negative experiences, and both things can coexist. There can be people with positive experiences and those with negative, and they don't necessarily cancel each other out, and it's not exclusive. So please keep an open mind here. All of this stuff is my own opinion, thoughts, and experiences. I'm sharing them with you here so that you can be a more informed consumer of lapidary products and know that while you might have a great experience, that ball can swing the other way and you can have a negative experience. So please keep an open mind and enjoy the video. I am extremely angry. That said, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm extremely angry. Like, my mad level is dialed up to 11 right now, and I would like to share it with you. Typically, you know, in the past, I would do the Saturday night specials, and that's my time to be like, ooh, vent. I would vent on those at times. I'm not doing the Saturday night specials anymore, so I'm gonna vent here in this special little video. Over the years, okay, I have heard a lot of terrible, terrible things about Highland Park Lapidary from many, many people. These things have landed in my inbox. I've seen them posted on Facebook. I know that my interactions with those people, helping those people because the company's not helping them, that they're being honest and genuine. You know, and I'm talking like somebody buying a core drill, their big core drill, shows up broken. Somebody that bought a 36-inch drop saw, broken in the box. Somebody with a leaking saw that they just bought, being told to JB weld it, and I'm helping them. I've personally fixed some of their machines myself, but a lot of this is secondhand, and I'm sharing that with you now because I have some very first-hand interactions with this company, and I knew better, yet I still purchased something from them. That's my mistake, okay? Never again, though. Never again. I will never, if they were the last lapidary company on earth, I would quit lapidary, okay? I would, over them. I am over them. Let me show you what I'm talking about, though, okay? Because I don't want you just to take my word for it. Let me know if you're okay with what I'm about to show you. What you're looking at here is the product listing on the Highland Park website for a 20-inch segmented blade, okay? It clearly says that it is a 20-inch blade. And when one would purchase this blade based upon this listing, one would expect a 20-inch blade to show up. I would like to point out the amount of sintering on the slots. I would like to point out on their second product page, they do show it with a ruler, and if you flip their ruler, well, you get a little over, maybe a proud 1/4 inch of sintering on it. And here I have that exact blade. Now, here is a tape measure. This one just happens to be a Fast Cap branded tape measure. And if we come in here, well, you might notice that the 20 is over here. We're going directly across and the 20 is over here. It is basically like a 19.5 to a 19 5/8 blade, somewhere in there. And one thing that is noticeably missing, if you look at their product page, is what is printed on my blade, which is that it is actually 500 millimeters and not 20 inches. So what we have here is effectively a 19.5-inch blade and not a 20-inch blade. And we're talking about something here that is a $300 item, and it is a little undersized. As well, if we look at these photos that I took here, you can also see that the sintering is less than the 1/4 inch, just by a little bit. but it's enough to where I'm like, you know, there's a number of problems with this as a blade, all right? I feel like it's a little misleading. Now, some people are going to be, there's some Highland Park fanboys out there, but I would say this is misleading. If you bought 10 gallons of gas and got 9.5, would you be okay with it? If you bought a 100-foot extension cord at $1 a foot, and you actually were only getting a 90-foot extension cord, would you be okay with it? Are you okay with anything like that? I'm not. I am not okay with that. If I'm going to be spending a large amount of money on a large blade, I would like to get what I'm paying for. Get what I would like that. If they said, hey, this is a 500 millimeter blade, it is not a 20-inch blade, I would have no problem with it. This is noticeably missing from their product photos. You might be saying to yourself, well, Jared, mistakes happen, right? Like, they're a big company, you know? Things get away from them. And typically I would be like, yeah, you're right. Highland Park is a big international company that makes all of their machines in China, imports them into their distribution warehouse in Boston, and sends them out. And things are going to fall through the cracks. However, I basically wrote down in a very pleasant email exactly what I showed you, along with photos, all the evidence, every single thing that you would possibly need to know. And this has been my response from them. It's on the screen right now. Just saying that is, the basics of it would be that it is fine and totally normal and within their acceptable tolerance to send out a 19.5-inch blade and call it a 20-inch blade. I find that to be very, very, very unacceptable. I have called them multiple times. I'm trying to get a return shipping label to send this stupid blade back and get my money back, and they make it extremely, extremely difficult. It is one of the most frustrating customer service interactions I've ever had in my 42 years of life. It is horrible. It is like interacting with, like, I don't know. It's like you say one thing and they just don't care. They don't even respond. Well, some of you might be saying, well, you know, the CEO, John Rowland, right? He is very accessible on Facebook, and people have complained about his machines in the past on Facebook, and he's really like, I wish you would have approached me or contacted the company first. Well, I approached him, and his response was that he is too busy flying to do it. I'm not happy with buying a 100-foot extension cord and getting a 90. I'm not happy with getting 19 gallons of gas when I pay for 20. Like, I think there's a couple of words for that, because when you knowingly mislead in your product listings on your website, there might be a word for that. I will let you guess what that word is. Now, you might be thinking I'm blowing this out of proportion. That thing back there is my wet belt sander. That wet belt sander is one of the most poorly designed machines I have ever had the mispleasure of using. Now, I have remedied a lot of these problems with it, and I've gotten into that in previous videos. The water delivery system on it is wildly inaccurate as it comes out of the box. It is one of the most messy machines. I mean, maybe you have a shop where you don't mind water spraying all over the place and getting all over the floor, getting all over everything, and maybe that's you. That's not me. That's not me. So I had to implement many fixes. That slow buffing wheel on the side there is pretty much useless, regardless of the pulleys that you have on it. You know, there's just an infinite number of things that I could point to and be like, Highland Park Lapidary, I think, is not good. They're not good, in my opinion. They are not good now. They are not the company they once were before the Rowlands. I guess I don't want to say too much, but rest assured that the old-timey Highland Park is not the new Highland Park. You can dig into those things yourself, and I'm sure you will come up with plenty of things that will back up what I just said. So I'm still fighting with their customer service to get my money back, to get this thing shipped back to them. And let this be a lesson to you. If you buy a Highland Park machine, it is like buying a used car. You are on your own, okay? Do not expect their help. Do not expect good customer service. Don't expect them to care at all. You might spend $7,000 on a saw, and it shows up, you put your oil in it, and it starts leaking out onto your floor, and you message them being like, hey, this is defective, even though they have a defective policy, warranty policy. They're gonna be like, we got you. Go down to your hardware store, get some JB Weldon, just slap that on. Can you imagine any other company responding like that? I can't. I find it to be atrocious. A buddy of mine got a 36-inch lap from them, and all of the discs, all their big lapping discs, big discs, right, had huge curves in them, just totally warped out of the box. And he fought with them for a long time. So maybe you might like fighting with companies, or maybe you just don't care, or maybe you don't have any standards for the things that you buy, and you're just fine with that. You're fine with, giving Exxon however many dollars for 20 gallons of gas and getting 19. I'm not, but I hope some of you will chime in down below. Let me know your stories about Highland Park. Oh, that is quite the improvement already. Whew. All right, that's much better. Hello, I would like to make a return, please. Excuse me, I have a return. Oh, so you want your money back. So, yeah, the funniest thing about that. Seriously? You're gonna make me chase you down? Okay. Well, that took a couple of weeks, but I managed to chase them down and get my money back from them. So, now that I have my cash, I would like to point out one thing. They did update the website. So this is the current listing for the saw blade, and it's very different than the original one. Of course, they didn't want to admit any fault whatsoever. However, they want to just sweep it under the rug and change the website listing. So I guess that is a positive outcome here. However, they still suck as a company, and I will show my receipts for that statement. So if you disagree, well, watch this portion of the video. Okay, so I emailed them 9 times. I called them 4 times and was like, what's up with my refund? You have the item back. Can I please get my money? Can I get my money? You know, like, you have the item back. And it was just like pulling teeth, right? I tried to call them for the 6th time to be like, come on. And I was nothing but polite to them, right? Like, there's no recording or email correspondence that would say otherwise, because I was just like, I want my money back. I sent you the thing back. You accepted it. Let me get my money. So, Highland Park Lapidary, here's their public phone number.
You are not allowed to call this number.
So I can call with another phone and get through. I can *67 and get through. They really wanted to not give me my money back. They really wanted to hold on to it, and I think there's plenty of evidence here. I even tried their live chat, and you can see here that they just don't respond. I think it was possibly because of my IP address. I'm not exactly sure. However, when I go into my phone with a private tab, they were responding. So, you know, there's fishy things over there. There's fishy things over there. I should have known better, though. This whole thing comes down to me. I should have known better, all right? Highland Park has a history of taking things that don't belong to them and not admitting any kind of real fault until maybe like after the fact. So this goes all the way back to when they took the images that I was producing and the research that I was doing on CVD diamonds and used them in their little Zoom call things and misinterpreted what I was saying and the photos and all of this stuff and used it for their own thing. I pointed it out to them. They didn't apologize, not at first. They deleted it, and then when I brought it up again, they eventually, John apologized. So strike one, okay, going back to how they even got the name Highland Park is very suspect, very, very suspect. So after I put up my video about the Intarsia grinder, and I'm going to talk about two instances here, right? Two instances that back up a lot of the things that I'm saying. I got this entirely unsolicited message from John, which you can pause and read if you like. And I think it's crazy. Okay, so let's talk about the Intarsia machines. He said, we're gonna focus on a couple of parts here, because I also responded in detail to him, which he says publicly that he wants people to respond to him or respond directly in their conversations, but he was too busy to answer. Our unit is quite complete. I disagree, and I can prove it, John. You never ever used that machine before selling it to people, accepting their money, and I can prove it real simple. Had you done any level of Intarsia work, I'm not an expert in Intarsia, I'm still learning myself, I know enough that sending it out with 80 grit diamond discs on that machine means that you're going to be getting chip outs on your 90-degree edges. Nobody in Intarsia that I know of uses an 80 grit disc. Everybody uses 180, right? So you sent them out with this 80 grit disc, which tells me that you never actually did any Intarsia work. And I might be wrong. If so, I would love to see the work that you produced, and I would love to see the photos that you took at the time in which you were producing them by you uploading them to a Google Drive so that the original file creation dates can be looked at. I would love to see that. As well as your water system that you're so proud of your valve that you designed. But your water system creates a vacuum, okay? There's no valve or vent, there's no vent on the water bottle, the cheap plastic water bottle that you're using. Well, you can't pull liquid out without letting air in, okay? So it stops. So now you're telling people to drill holes in it. It just goes to show, and these aren't big deals, it goes to show that you didn't actually test the machine before you were sending it out. So to say your unit is quite complete, I think is, no, it's not. You test your machines on the public, which you shouldn't do. You shouldn't do that. Like, figure out your stuff before sending it out. You then went on to say, I don't mind constructive criticism, but the comments really didn't come across like this. It felt more like it was a criticism of us creating a replica of this machine. Here's the thing with replicas. If I come out and I'm like, I'm making a currently rockhounding branded #2 pencil, guess what? It is a replica. It's going to be like many of the other #2 pencils in the world. My criticism, and I have no problem with that, take these basic and like designs, right? Like if you take an arbor, right? You take this arbor here. There's only so many ways to make an arbor, and nobody owns the arbor design. So if you want to make one, that's fine. But I do have a problem with you sending out things that suck. Leaky machines, okay? And we'll talk about leaky machines. I know, this is John, I know that we are the only lapidary company who's committed to innovation and growth. All the other manufacturers are absent from social media. We'll talk about social media here probably. And none of them have produced anything new to advance the lapidary arts. I rarely ever watch your videos and see so much criticism of them. Well, John, let me show you what other manufacturers do and what you should probably do to fix the problems that you get criticized so often for. Highland Park likes to say that they do all this amazing testing and quality control of all of their machines. Let's pretend for a second that this is a saw, okay, and this is water, and you're going to use the water to make sure the saw doesn't leak. And this is your saws, John. This is your saws, okay? Stop sending out machines that leak, okay? It should be like this. See how then the water doesn't come out the bottom? You see that? Other manufacturers don't send out Intarsia machines and saws that leak. I know that you guys like to say that all of your machines coming out of your Shenzhen factory, Shenzhen factory are tested. What you don't say is that they were tested and came back good. You just say that they were tested, and that is the problem. You send out machines that are broken, or you have a problem, somebody has a problem with them, they contact you and they go through the absolute garbage maze of navigating your terrible customer service with your terrible employees that don't have a basic understanding of what it is that they're talking about. That is your problem. You need to send out functioning machines. Now, I guarantee you that Diamond Pacific tests their machines. So does Covington Engineering, so does High Tech Diamond, and I don't know about Cab King. I'm not sure about that. However, the difference is you can call Diamond Pacific and they pick up the phone. I've done it. Same thing with Covington, same thing with High Tech. Kingsley, they're a reseller, but now they're making some of their own machines. You can just call them, right? And you don't have to navigate like Chinese customer service, I'm sorry, like the language barrier is a problem. Like it just is. And the fact that they don't speak English as a primary language or their first language, and then also the fact that they don't understand Lapidary, and maybe you've hamstrung them and they don't actually have the ability to process returns or fix things, it's all a big problem. And that's why I don't criticize the other companies the way I criticize your company. But it's not just me. It's not just me, right? Get on any of the Lapidary groups and search these different companies' names. And you're going to see a trend. And the trend is that more people bitch and moan about Highland Park because they suck the most. And that, you don't have to take my word for it. I'm showing you the receipts, but you don't have to take my word for it. Go dig into them a little bit and you'll be like, oh, okay. And I know you're going to have your like YouTube shill mouthpieces say that everything is hunky-dory and your machines are the best machines ever, and they're not. I'm sorry, John, they're not. Like you do like 90% of the work and like you drop the ball on the other 10. I hope more than anything, you watch this video, you don't get super butthurt, and you listen and come to the same conclusion that you should do the last 10%. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the CRS gripper, which Highland Park knocked off. Now, here's the thing. The CRS gripper is a very unique and original lapidary tool. Now, like I was using as the example of the number 2 pencil, number 2 pencils are saws, are rock tumblers, right? Highland Park didn't invent them. It's been a long process. But when somebody comes out with something interesting, new, and unique, and you guys just take it for your own, well, you know, that sucks. You shouldn't do that. If you're such a great designer, come up with your own unique ideas. I actually pointed this out and in one of your video comments, and I had this lovely conversation with one of your employees, which is up on the screen right now that you can read. And you know, after the fact, you guys deleted that video, re-uploaded that video, the comments are gone, and that sucks. That makes you look bad. You want to be like pro lapidary industry. Oh, you want 1 million people to do lapidary? Stop taking things that don't belong to you. But in lieu of that, since I don't think you're going to stop, 2 can play at that game. I'm announcing my new company. My new company is called Lowland Park Lapidary. I own lplapidary.com. And if you go to lplapidary.com, which you totally should, well, you will see that it is currently under work, but I'm going to be releasing mechanical drawings of minty green lapidary machines so that everybody can enjoy them. Everybody has access to these things. I fully expect Highland Park to live up to their statements of being super supportive of the Lapidary arts, and you can send me all of your digital mechanical drawings and I will post them up there. I'll post them up there, and then everybody will see how great you are and how supportive you are. I don't think you're going to do that though. But in lieu of that, if you have those, shoot me an email. It's up on the screen right now, and we'll share these designs, since in the name of the Lapidary Arts, we share everything and nothing is theft. Lastly, I'm going to leave you here, AC versus DC motors. And yeah, motors, not the band, AC versus DC. So HP has started to release machines that have DC motors, direct current motors, as opposed to alternating current motors. This is a ginormous subject, but it is absolutely a mistake to be running DC motors on these machines. Now, it would be a long video to get into the world of AC versus DC, and I'm actually happy to have that long form video, but it will not end well. It's not going to end well for anybody that does this. Those motors will not last. I have experience with this. I've ran DC motors continuously. They do not hold up. What you want, if you want VFD controlled motors, is you want 3-phase AC motors, putting single phase into a variable frequency drive that spits out 3-phase that controls your 3-phase motor. I've done this. Ask me how I know, right? Like, I know. And apparently, they don't know, and they are simply testing these things on you, the consumer, without having tested it themselves. Now, John, if you want to have a debate, AC versus DC, I know somebody that's an electrical engineer. Would you like to have a Zoom call with me, an electrical engineer, and we can go over the pros and cons of AC versus DC motors, VFDs, and continuous operation of said motors. I'm happy to have that conversation whenever. I think that'll be interesting. Who knows, maybe I'm a moron and you will talk circles around me. If that's the case, I'll put a moron hat on. So what it comes down to, at the end of the day, the machines that they send out have aspects of them that are poorly designed, and they will leave you, the consumer, holding the ball. And you're going to have to figure it out for yourself in many cases. You know, going back to the Intarsia machine, right? You know, they like to say how excellent the design is, and it's endorsed by Bill Boggs, and it was endorsed by Al Sassona when he was alive. However, you guys couldn't even manage to send Bill Boggs, who is a lovely man, who produced an excellent book on Intarsia. You sent him an Intarsia machine, as a thank you gift. The machine that you sent him was broken in the box. Okay, your thank you gift. The thank you gift was broken in the box. Need I say more? You couldn't manage the thank you gift. That is a problem, everybody. They are a problem. You know, they are just have aspects that are half-baked. They're half-baked. I can't say it any other way. It's a shame that we here as consumers of lapidary machinery, we don't have good options, right? The reality is Highland Park is the only company that makes some of these machines. You know, you want a big 36-inch drop saw, your option is Highland Park. I hope that changes at some point. I hope some other companies give you a run for your money, and we will see how this all plays out. You know, other companies don't screw people like you guys screw people. And I think with that said, I have made my case. I know it's not Festivus, but I'm airing my grievances anyways. And you guys, let me know your thoughts down below.